So into the lesson, we're on lesson 10.1 and we're finding volume of cylinders. And the I can statement, use the formula for volume, use the formula of a cylinder to find the volume if you're given the diameter, radius, and the height. All right, so let's move on. Let's look down at the bottom. We've got volume is the measure of space occupied by a solid. Underline that for us. All right, how do we measure that? We measure it in cubic units. All right, so you can read about a cylinder. A cylinder is a three-dimensional figure with two parallel congruent circular bases connected by a curved surface. The area of the base of a cylinder, this is interesting and something that we should be aware of. It's layering on to a concept from 7th grade when you talked about prisms. But the area of the base, this area here, if you find that, that gives you the number of cubic units in one layer, kind of like a stack of pancakes, all right? Okay, you have a stack of pancakes, right? There's a pancake, 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 pancake. They're supposed to be like a cylinder of them, but I kind of drew it weird. But if you found one pancake, how many cubes fit on there, right? How many little cubes fit on there, all right? Then you would just have to multiply it by the number of pancakes, which is the height. So that's what this is saying. What we're doing is we're finding one layer, the first layer, the base, and then we're going to multiply it by the height. Okay? So that's what the formula says. The height tells how many layers. There you go. The height tells how many layers, just like the number of pancakes in the stack. So when we look at this, we see the volume of a cylinder. The volume of a cylinder with radius r is the area of the base times the height. So that's our first formula. And what is the base? What is the big B? The big B is a circle. So we're going to do that pancake's area is pi r squared. And so we replace B in the formula with pi r squared. So we get essentially this formula. Sometimes we'll need to go back to the V equals BH, but for our purposes right now, this is the formula we need. All right. Notice that the radius is from the center of the circle to the edge, and the height connects the two circles. All right. All right. So let's get some practice in. Let's do some examples. Okay. Check it out. Read it. When solving problems that involve pi, you can use the value of pi as stored in a calculator, or you can record your answer in terms of pi. For example, the volume of the cylinder shown, this one over here to the right, the blue one, can be represented in either of these ways. So we can record volume in terms of pi. That means we don't remove the pi and put in an approximation like 3.14. We just leave it in there. Okay, see the pi comes down, the pi stays in the problem, and we simply replace the r and the h and simplify all of that, right? We simplify the 4 squared times 7, and that equals the 112, and we just leave the pi in the problem. That's what we call the exact answer, all right? But when we use the pi button, all right, use the value of pi from a calculator, use the pi button, it becomes an approximation because we can't possibly write out all the digits. Your calculator can't contain all the digits because they're infinite. So we get an approximation if we use the pi. We can also sometimes use 3.14 and get an approximation as well. The only way to get an exact answer with pi is to just leave the pi symbol in there. Okay, so this is the only way to get an exact answer. Sometimes the problems will ask you for an exact answer, sometimes not. All right, so we are going to go down to the next example, and that will be on the next video.